All right, guys. Well, I got out here bright and early this morning. As you can see, the sun is just starting to come up right there. Got out here bright and early this morning and got the grass all mowed. And I have to kind of mow it pretty tall because there's a lot of gravel and rocks and dirt and just a lot of stuff like that out here. I forgot my weed eater battery at home, or I would have weed eated this right here off before I showed you this. But from you can see where the grass kind of starts right over there to right here. That's where I did it first, around deer season last year. And I've worked my way around, and I just got through rinsing the rest of the sand off. They got quite a bit of rain up here over the past couple of weeks since I've been gone, and it's all locked down really, really nice. And like I was saying, from right about here over to right about there, I left a little bit of a low spot, and you can kind of see where I was washing it off. It'll allow it, if water gets in here, it'll give it a place to go, so it's not just filling with water. It'll let it run out over there. But it really turned out nice, and it locked in really, really good. I haven't felt a single stone move under my foot. I was going to show you this rock, or this sand, came from a crusher where they crush rock to make gravel and stuff like that. And so it's got a lot of big pieces in it and a lot of real big grit in it. So I'm hoping that that will lock it in really good. But once I get my weed eater up here, I'm going to weed eat all this. And I'm thinking about maybe getting like a Bermuda grass seed or something like that and sprinkling on this really, really heavy, so it'll grow into the cracks and kind of lock all that sand in place. And then I can just mow it off, and instead of having sand in my grout, like my grout lines, it'll be Bermuda grass. And as level as I've got it, I can just, like I said, come up here and just weed eat it real quick, you know, every time I mow, and just let it stay a couple inches tall. And I think it'll look good too. I've seen a couple of them done like that, but they were with a lot bigger stone. You know, the average stone that you're seeing here is, I'd say the average is about the size of two hands put side by side. Of course, some of them are bigger like this. You know, there are some big stones. Like my shoe is, that's a 10 and a half or 11, I can't remember now, but you know, so that's a pretty big stone. Some of them are pretty big, but it was hard to find really big ones. I mean, I could find really big ones, but I couldn't pick them up and get them to where I could get them out of there because they're just too big. I couldn't handle them by myself. But yeah, like I said, what little grass I've got up here, I got it all mowed this morning, and I'm mowing it about 4 inches tall because there's so much stuff out here. And I just walked around with some weed killer and sprayed around my electric poles and sprayed in the gravel driveway. But I wanted to show you this. This is just, oh, it just frustrates me because it's such a beautiful, beautiful tree. But look at this poor tree. As you can see, it had its leaves on it this spring. Every leaf on that tree is dead. And that's I believe it's a red oak. I wouldn't swear to that. It might be a white oak, but I'm not for sure. I'm not very good with my tree types. But down here, there's a root that comes across and it got nicked. And I believe this is maple and this is maple. But there is a oak growing right there. So I may talk to my big brother and see if maybe I can get him to come down here with his big chainsaw and cut this one down for me. Then I'll cut it all up and see what I can do to it. But man, I hate like the devil to cut that tree down. It's all the green leaves you see are on the tree behind it. Those are all dead. Now it just frustrates me because it's such a beautiful tree, and that tree's probably over 100 years old. I can almost promise you it is. My dad is a lover of bur oak. And if you don't know what bur oak is, they're acorns that are about this big around. They're great big huge acorns. And we planted, I think, 7 or 8 of them last year, but there's one bur oak there. Everywhere you see these little flags is where I planted them, so I wouldn't accidentally mow over them. But there's one right there. And there's one, I think we planted 7 in total. And then I brung a 5-gallon bucket full of them up here last year and was gonna plant them, the acorns. And I set them on my front porch over there, and the squirrels carried every single one of them off. They thought, oh, I was such a nice guy. I brung them up here and even gathered for them and put them in a bucket so that they could eat them. And then here's another one. And these are the only 2 bur oaks out of the 7 that we planted that lived. So I think I'm going to put me a little Miracle-Gro around the perimeter of those and see if I can't give them a little boost, because this soil is really poor. I mean, the best dirt on this place is probably right here, because I probably put 25 or 30 wheelbarrow loads of leaves and acorns and grass and dirt and just everything the lawnmower would pick up right here. I mean, I put a lot. This right here used to be from right there to right there. It used to drop off and be about 3 foot deep all the way down through there. And well, you can kind of see where it used to be. I filled it up all the way past the back of my little shop there. But yeah, it's a sad deal when a guy has to cut a tree that beautiful down. That just, oh, it makes me sick. It makes me sick. I love that tree. It's a gorgeous tree. I just hope to God that one right there doesn't die, because that is a white oak and it is another pretty tree. But that'd be the third big tree. And then these two right here were probably 18 or 20 inches, somewhere in there. And that one's gonna be, at the base down there, it's gonna be over 30 inches. But look, from the base there all the way up, how high you have to go before you even get to the first limb. And it's just a small limb, so there'll be some good wood come out of that anyways. But yeah, everything looks really good. Heck, it's rained quite a bit up here. The roads were really bad last night. It took us an hour and a half to drive 14 miles last night. We were driving the Kia, and the roads were pretty blame rough. They haven't been that rough in quite a while. It's been quite a while. But yeah, we're fixing to go, I'm fixing to go move the doors for the Jeep, yank the back glass off in the Jeep, and we're fixing to go for us a little ride and see what we can see this morning. Show you one more thing real quick before I go unzipping windows on that Jeep. You see, this has turned out real good. Like I said, it rained quite a bit, and this is where there was a really big, if you see my mirror or my end table, this is where the wood from that came from. This was a big hollow tree, and I finally got it burnt down pretty good, but there was still a lot of knees. Well, there's a knee right there. You can see the knee right there, and there's a knee right there. And I hauled, I think, 3 loads of dirt over here and put on this. And then the 33-inch tree was right there where all that dirt is. And I hauled a couple of trailer loads of dirt and put on that, and that's covered really good. And hopefully the grass over the next couple of months will start taking it over. I want to get all this moved. Those are some pretty blame big logs. They come off of that stump right there, and I need to get all this moved. I was going to leave it here and use it for firewood, but I need to split it. I may just bring my Harbor Freight electric splitter over here and try to split some of this, and a lot of them are still connected, and go ahead and get them cut up so we can use them for fire this winter. And last night when we got here, I forgot I left hot dogs in our refrigerator, and they've been in there for 2 weeks. So I brung them over here last night, and I dropped a hot dog down in there, and a hot dog right here, and a hot dog down in there, just to see if anything would come up. And nothing come up last night. I was hoping something might come up out of those deep dark woods back there and have itself a snack. But okay, well, I will get out of y'all's hair. I just wanted to check in with you and show you my fire ring. I think it's turning out really nice. And I may, you know, as I see rocks, I'll gather them up, and I may continue to make that a little bit bigger. And my wife was on Amazon or somewhere, and she found some Bigfoot feet that you can make concrete paving stones out of. They're not real big, but they're neat looking. And I'm thinking about making me a walkway from here to about that post right there with Bigfoot feet. I got them in the mail, and I may start trying to cast me a bunch of those and make me a nice little path across there using those. I thought, you know, that'd be a little different than the sidewalk I'm putting in the back. But all right, guys, you have a good day, and thanks again.